Right, I think we're recording. It's very bright today. Better. Right, a new series. My voice is gone today, so bear with me. State of the world. Now, you probably think, oh no, here we go. He's going to go on about this, that and the other and climate and all that. Well, yes, I will be. But it's much deeper than that, as you probably know. I'm going to try and get this in half an hour. Now let's look. Go back to the globe. You've got the globe in your hand. There's two men on it only. One man wants his bit, this man wants his bit. So they divide the world round the middle. He lives there, he lives there. He's got a tree with fruit on it. This bloke got oil. So he swaps fruit with him for the oil to heat his home and for them both to eat, for him to eat. If there's a dispute, or this chap stops sending food, he's got no choice but to invade him to get his food, or him to get his oil, which we see the whole time, don't we? Iraq, you know, all that. It's all to do with oil and gold and stuff. You'll see that countries in much more desperate need of help than Iraq don't get a look in. Nobody even mentions them, not even the press. That's because they're not agitated to do so. And obviously there's no oil. This is the problem with the country system. Now you might think, but I want my own country, I'm proud of my country and all this. But in fact, you were born into that country. You didn't choose it. So therefore you're thinking, oh, well I was born here, I better stick up for it. No, it was only an area where you were born. It wasn't, it's not yours. You haven't picked it. But, you know, like for instance, when this genealogy thing came up and everyone was going to find out where they came from, there was a chap who, I think his granddad had been killed by a German in the First World War and somebody had been killed by somebody in the Second World War, so he hated the Germans. When he did his genealogy thing, he was part German. That's how stupid it is. So, but the country system is, if you look at it, is actually the problem, the underlying problem. And when we all lived in that strip of Africa during the last ice age, the only bit that was inhabitable, obviously that was, you know, it was a survival thing. That was one. As we all went out and grabbed our own bits, you know, they all provide various things that you have to look after. That's where war comes in. You know, even chimpanzees these days are territorial, and they're starting to attack each other with bits of wood. There's your first weapons. But now, I mean, our weapons have got so big, you only need one war and that's the end of us. You know, even the last war, every single bomb that was let off, the residue from that is still in the atmosphere somewhere. It can't leave because of gravity. The only things that can leave are spaceships. And they've burnt a hell of a lot of rubbish to get up there. So, you know, I mean, what do we do? Where do we go? The other problem, because you've got resources in your country, you've got money. You need money to buy other resources, and so vice versa. People, not necessarily consciously, want to get more money. Like my director, for instance, he announced to me, oh, just checked in the bank, I've got my first $1 million. I said, what do you spend it on? I said, no, I'm not spending it, I'm going for the next one. See what I mean? So once you've got something, you want more. Eliminate money altogether, everything's still as it is, but people are doing stuff for free. They're getting their food for free. They've got their accommodation for free. There's no rent, no mortgage. You know, but everything carries on as normal. The only bit that's missing is the changing of the coins. So, what's happened? When you played a game of Monopoly, you've all got equal amounts to start with, but because it's money, somebody can collect more if they're clever. So at the end of the game, somebody has got all the money and the property and the hotels and the whatever, and the other three have backed out. That's what happens, but obviously on a much bigger scale, much slower in the world. And it's coming to that point now, where just a few people have got all the money. As we know that now. There's no hiding it. There's various countries like Switzerland, numbered bank accounts. You know, there's thousands of them that haven't been touched since the war. They're still using that money to lend. You know, it's obvious now that these people are gone. Things like that, lots of little things. Marcus with his gold in the Philippines, you know, robbed the country blind, basically. So that's money. You know, people have got all the, very few people have got all the money. It's drained from the countries. So that can only mean one thing. First of all, you'll get a breakdown of law and order completely, where groups form to look after themselves. So you go back to the caveman thing, really. Or you go to our Project X money system called the Centre of Excellence. And all that means is you get everything for free, but the things that there isn't a lot of and cost a lot and a luxury, you have to earn those, almost like money, but not, because it's fluid. It's 1 pence isn't 1 pence. Because if everyone's done their work, that goes to zero. And everyone goes wherever they want in their centre of excellence. So you have to earn places in the good centres of excellence. The ones that would, in this world, would be like, for instance, owning a Ferrari. In the Ferrari centre of excellence, you would go to the factory on the day. You'd have good food and good accommodation and all that. It'll all be included on the side. You drive your Ferrari, you watch it be fixed, you get involved in it, you learn about it, and at the end of that, they'll give you one to take home. You can't just, like you do now, walk into a shop, buy one. Around the first bend, they usually crash. You know, that's a waste of resources. The Ferrari factory, at the moment, in order to keep all its workers paid, and the rent paid and everything paid, it has to sell Ferraris. You know, it can't stop selling Ferraris, otherwise it goes bust. In the Centre of Excellence system, everything's dormant and doesn't cost anything until somebody orders something. Then it comes up on the people's mobiles, back to the factory, make that one thing, bring the couriers, that comes up on their mobile, they take it to wherever it's got to go. That chap then says, yes, it arrived perfectly, and all this. So the people who did the courier, the people who made it, the people who organised all that, all get closer to going to their next centre of excellence. If everything's done, this level goes bang, fills up automatically, so that you get to go to your centre of excellence. In some cases, you stay there until you want to come back, because there is no jobs. If you've done like plumbing, I always use plumbing, if they've done a really good job, they'll probably never have to go back and do that job again. If they've used the best materials, they're not wasting, you know, every time they go there, they're not wasting something, because they've done a good job. They're actually saving, because that item, like the old Victorian lead pipes, I know we can't use lead pipes now, but they're still running in some places. They're still in use. They never leak. You know. So it's all to do with value engineering. You get the worst one and the best possible item with the best possible materials. What you've done in the Centre of Excellence system is cut out all the others. Just that one. What you saved here pays for that one twice over. Double. 3 times. So, and the government say, oh, this is to give you a choice. You've got a choice of things to choose from. But if you've got a real choice, you want to choose the best one. It's the same with their private medical insurance. They want us to have a choice. You either go to the National Health, which is free, or you pay for the health insurance and go to the same place with the same doctors. Just there's a delay, or not a delay rather, whereas with the NHS there would be a delay because of the probably created queues for operations and things, waiting lists. That's created to make us think, oh Jesus, I'm going to die. Let's go and get medical insurance. No. Medical should be completely free all over the world. And if somebody's ill, they should jump on them. But there's prevention. Prevention is better than cure. If you can prevent it, i.e. get the person, you know, when they're shopping or something, to nip into a centre on the side of the road and have all their tests. Blood tests, air, everything. And you find problems, instead of waiting to be ill or to get a pain, you find a problem first and deal with it on the spot. I know somebody who they just managed to detect some cancer cells in his blood. But because it was an absolute early stage, they had no idea, I think they probably do now, they had no idea where it came from. So what happens? They have to wait. That's what we should be doing. Waiting for an organ to produce a few more cells so we can say, oh yes, there it is. And there's a microscopic little dot there, let's have that out. Whereas my mum, because of the coronavirus, didn't go to the doctor. They misprescribed her over the telephone twice. So she got stomach cancer, which they didn't know about, and died. She should have been in a centre checking for blood cells many, many months before. So there you go. Right, let's have a look around the world. China. China thinks that it's going to take over completely eventually. So it's got a massive army and navy, and it's building up its air force and everything. It's taking over places in the South China Sea and making bases and bribing heads of islands and things. Can we build a base here? We'll give you £1 million. And they do that in a seedy hotel somewhere with 2 people that the chap never sees again. Here, here's your £1 million. Just make sure we can build a base. So, I've got a feeling they've got a superiority complex whereby they think the rest of the world, you can pull the wool over their eyes, no problem, we'll do whatever we like. Just cover it up a bit, they'll never notice. Of course we do. How stupid. Look on the internet and see how many land disputes China has got. That's to do with a country system. And they want that land in the South China Sea because of the resources which bring money. Money becomes the problem. See what I mean? Then obviously on top of all that we've got the religion thing, where people have been so wound up as a child, you will do this or your God will do this to you, that they're absolutely terrified. You should wait till they're 18, say look, there's this, and this, like you do with everything else. Choices of hobbies, choices of religions. Which one do you want? Oh, I'll go and check. It's alright having a religion because it actually produces good people. But it produces good people by fear. They are terrified that they're going to hell. this happens. You know, gods don't exist. They exist. Say you've got 200 people in a cult, and they say, oh, that goose, this picture of this goose, that's our god. They all think that's their god, because the head of it said it. You know, this monkey. Well, I mean, basically everything has been worshipped at some stage or another. Sun, the moon, earth, fire, bulls. You know, everything has been worshipped. There's been over 4,000 gods. The Romans had hundreds of gods. So, you know, I mean, how ridiculous is it? But, on the other hand, it's okay. If you, when you get to 18, want to do that, don't go by what your parents or anything say, because that is, you know, they're old school, and they think it's absolutely true. There absolutely is a God, and he controls everything. Well, no, there isn't. You know, and if something nice happens in your life, you think, oh, it must have been the God. Something bad happens, oh, he's angry. No, it happens anyway. You know, if there was a real God, everything would be perfect. Now, we can produce our own perfect planet. Don't say, oh no, it's way out of reach. That's not the attitude. We can do it. Now, I don't know how to say this, but last time, if you see the Project X units, the X project, I did about probably 3 or 4 videos in that, because basically I was forced to. Now I've stopped them in their tracks, because the next, although I'm the spokesperson and aren't supposed to tell them what to do, because there's British MPs involved, I basically said no, I'm not doing it. And that is the deterrent for, if it all goes pear-shaped, basically the deterrent comes out. It's not a deterrent like you think, like countries have got at the moment, but it's pretty impressive. It's impressive enough to say to countries, right, that's it, no more. You're not getting away with any more. To all countries, not just, you know, they're all as bad as each other. I think the only ones that's realised the finance problem is Iceland, where they jailed all their bankers for being basically extortion, taking money, I think. But yeah, so, you know, there are various countries that won't be involved in the deterrent, and some of the donor countries we can't possibly say to, sorry, but you're in the deterrent. So, you know, don't worry, there will be an end to this, and all we've got to do, all I've got to hear is that everybody within the project is in agreement. Now this includes not only 100 odd MPs, there's 119 or something at the moment, because there hasn't been an election for a while, but it goes down to about 90 until we can build the figures up. Then there's 1 or 2 people in every single organisation, top organisations like FBI, CIA, who feed information into our intelligence system. None of that comes out again. It comes to us, but it's like a state of the world information block, so that we know exactly what's going on and we don't have to worry about fake news. Because as you know, the news has got people to do whatever it wants, which I just can't understand. You see things on the internet, you think, why hasn't that been reported on the news? That's because it's now being run by people with an agenda. They're not independent at all. That's another problem we've got. You know, if they say, oh, China's going to launch nuclear weapons next week, we're all going to believe it, or there will be people who believe it. You know, That's just not right. Hang on, let's check the time. We're okay at the moment. 20 minutes. So yeah, that's the problem. Now, obviously, we've got other problems. The global warming thing, that will right itself automatically once we're put on the right path. Now, the survival of a planet. If you look at the UFO section, which is mine, but Project X have asked me to put it on their site instead of my own YouTube channel. And so other planets, when planets are forming, there's a knife edge that they have to stick to, i.e. right amount of heat, what is in the core of the planet to make the electromagnetic stuff, particles from the sun go around it instead of stuck directly on it. Otherwise we wouldn't be here, basically. There's so many things to get right before you get a single cell creature, or whatever, that it's down a knife edge. Now, once we're to this stage where we've got intelligence and we know what's going on and we think, oh my God, we're destroying the planet, we're still on the knife edge. Any deviation off of that knife edge, you fall off. Nothing, that's the only way is forward. Now, there's 450 odd planets, if you look at my UFO bits, who have got it right out of millions. There's about 50,000 at bacteria stages. So you've got millions that have failed or have got to a bacteria stage and can't get any further, or lots of other different things, lots of other reasons. We've stayed on the knife edge along with quite a few others, although we're a long way behind them. The Centre of Excellence system, they all use that or something similar. So that 10,000 years between the time they got to our stage, we could shorten that. When we get it right, when we've got rid of all the stuff that destroys a planet, the country system, money, religion, heat, there's lots of things. Once we've got rid of all that, they will then come to us and say, there's the information system for you to communicate with us. There's the universal language. Here's what you do next. They'll do everything. They basically come here. But as you know, there's probes shooting in and out of our atmosphere the whole time. One of my friends, Moya, she used to come back off an airplane after seeing UFO nearly every time and would never go and report it because it took too long. And you're classed as a nutcase if you put we've been through all that, we know all that. But yeah, they're here all the time, and at the moment we're not worth saving because we're about to fall off that knife edge. So they'll just wait. There's even a hint that there's a big craft out there somewhere, if it's in our region, will come and destroy us and start us again from scratch to get to this stage quicker. So there you go. And that is a Judgment Day computer which comes and assesses, goes through everybody, where it knows everything anyway, just has to update, and then it decides what our fate is. And that's been told already many times in the last 2,000-3,000 years, and it's been misread as Judgment Day in the Bible, which is like, it's not. It's a computer turning up, deciding whether we're worth saving, destroying aspects that are going to destroy the planet. They don't want that. They want a proper running planet, and then go away again and come back in a couple of 1 million or 2 years time to see how far we got again. It'll keep doing that. That's if it's in the area, who knows. And it obviously knows about us because of all the probes coming. They will be transmitting between each other all the way back to wherever. So anyway, I think I've got to go. 25. Got a few more minutes. So yeah, so that's it. So anyway, that's your gobbledygook for you. But as you know, there's only a few things we have to worry about. That's the money, the country system, religion, because religion will kill us. You might end up with one religion, but then there'll be little sects. You know, they'll kill everyone else on the planet. Then there'll be these little sects that form. Then they'll kill each other. You know, you've got to get out of that killing thing, which unfortunately Islam hasn't, but probably near as the Bible they haven't either. You know, it's all rubbish, really. But if it produces good people, then you keep an aspect of it and let them believe it. It's free. You can believe it if you want to. So there's that, and the heat. The heat, as we see with Mars, heat destroys planets. So there you go. Right, okay. That's the end for today. That's number 1.